All right, so with 100% less hair, maybe not 100% less hair, but a lot more opinions, the same opinions, really. This is World Cup 2026 Extra Time. My name is Steven Rabinowitz. Let's go. We had two games already today. We'll talk about the next game, which is Switzerland, Algeria, and the first game tomorrow to start the podcast tomorrow. But let's talk quickly about Spain and Austria because it only gets headlines because Spain is finally kind of clicking on all cylinders. Today was a Mikel Olizabal day. He scores in the 36th minute, then again in the 89th minute to help Spain win 3-0. This was an ass whooping, pretty much. I mean, Spain was lucky, Austria was lucky to get out of this game 1-0 at halftime, but they didn't have the offensive firepower to really compete and they didn't really have the defensive firepower to stop what Spain could give them. Spain, no shots on target at all in this whole entire game for Austria. 23 shots on goal for Spain, 21 chances created, 9 corners created, over 64% of the possession. This was as much of a warning shot to everybody for Spain that I think they needed it because I think in this competition, France has looked better. Argentina's look better, and honestly, you can even make a case for Mexico too, have looked better in this competition. And Spain got what they needed. They've now held opponents scoreless in 5 consecutive World Cup games, dating back to the loss they had in 2022 to Morocco. They didn't give up anything until the penalty kick shootout. So they're going to be going for 6 on Monday in Dallas, and their opponent is going to be a very familiar one, and that is Portugal, who get themselves a very, very controversial 2-1 win. Where do we start? We don't start with the first half. The first half was kind of a snooze fest just because of the fact that Croatia seemed just old and not ready to compete against what Portugal's talent and speed. Portugal just never got the ball in the back of the net. Expected goals in this game actually pretty much looked even 2.18 to 1.34. But Croatia's second half offense was kind of a shock to Portugal, and it showed as Perisic scores at the 53rd minute and makes this a game that Croatia has to kind of hold on tight. Portugal does get their break, though, getting a penalty for them in the 68th minute of the World Cup. The 68th minute of the World Cup, they get a penalty, I wouldn't say an obvious penalty, but this was a pretty good choice for a penalty, I think. This was one where Portugal kind of just gets taken down in the box. They get the penalty shot. Cristiano Ronaldo scores his first ever knockout stage penalty goal or goal of any kind, and Ronaldo is on the board. He does get subbed down in the 80th minute, but Portugal lead ties it up at 1. They sub him out, and then you kind of think we're going to penalty kicks, but then again, remember, this is the World Cup where we have people scoring in extra time all the time, or in stoppage time all the time, and we get another one from Gonzalo Ramos in the 90th plus fourth minute. It becomes 2-1. We have 10 minutes of extra time due to all of the stuff that happened during the game. And then comes the very, very controversial call in what seemed to be a Gavridol Yaskov Gavridol scores a scrappy goal pretty much right at the death. I believe it was in like the plus 11th, pretty much like at the plus 9th or 10th minute. It was pretty much, it would have been the last play of the game or the last play before extra time. But they go back, VAR is instituted, and they see that it was touched very, very, very slightly with a man off sides, and that was Pasalic, who was just who was offsides by a decent margin, but the touch he it looked like he got back offsides, but it was touched very slightly by Croatia because it went to VAR and because they literally have technology that shows that the ball was even deflected. The goal is disallowed and Portugal holds on. it's great to hold yourself up to the letter of the law, I guess, but that's a tough way to end the game. That's a tough way in what was as legal of a play as possible. It's not like the offsides affected anything, but unfortunately, if you're going to be consistent, you have to be consistent. And FIFA is really consistent on offsides rules. They will literally show you videos that will make sure you know it's offsides when it happens. They'll show you videos 8 minutes after it happens to let you know, oh yeah, this was definitely offsides. So if something is offsides, it's gonna get called. So is it great to see? No, absolutely not. I don't think it's great for a fan to see something like that happen late. And of course, you want to see games go in extra time. But again, if you're going to be consistent with the rule, you have to be consistent to the letter of the law. FIFA doesn't really allow their referees to really show a shade of gray out there or make a judgment call. That's why the going to VAR on that challenge last night for the US and Flo Balogun, the letter of the law, that could easily be a red card, and it's understandable because you don't need to have the intent for it to kind of twist the ankle. It was just a very dangerous block, and that's something that they would do. But you didn't need to go to VAR for it because you never called it in the first place. But the goal gets disallowed. Back to Croatia for a second. The goal gets disallowed, and Portugal holds on 2-1. So we have a busy, like, Saturday has some solid games out there because again, round of 16 games can always go exciting. But Canada, Morocco, Morocco's gonna be a decent favorite. France, Paraguay, France is gonna be a solid favorite. But Sunday you have Brazil, Norway, Mexico, England, and then Monday you have Spain, Portugal, two top 10 teams, and Belgium versus the United States. So you've got Sunday and Monday, you've got bangers all around to make for a very interesting round of 16. We'll talk about the first two round of 16 matches tomorrow and review what will be Switzerland, Algeria, and the first game of Friday, which will be Australia, Egypt. We'll talk about that on World Cup 2026 Extra Time. That'll be on Friday. We are on Instagram at WCE Time, World Cup 2026 Extra Time on the other socials. That would be Facebook and YouTube. We'll talk to you tomorrow.